Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. Today, continuing my 2021 year-end top 10s. This video is going to be on undefeated rising star Jaron "Boots" Ennis, who continues to make an impact as he climbs the welterweight division, as he's my number 5 welterweight in the world right now, following an impressive year in 2021. I'm sorry about that. He really kind of turned everybody's heads. He was coming in undefeated, but we needed to see, that standout victory. And in April, he would take on former 140-pound champion Sergey Lipinets, who was a top 10 guy going into that fight. So this was going to be a true test for him to see if he was really on the level that we we're hoping that he is on. And he passed that test with flying colors against Lipinets, as he just completely blasted him out with a 6th round knockout win and stayed undefeated. And then he followed it up in October and took on Thomas Delorme and dominated him with a 1st round knockout, even though there still is a little bit, and there's something to it that he landed. The punch that he landed that hurt Delorme was landed behind the head, but it wasn't intentional. Delorme kind of leaned in and he caught him with a punch behind the head. So, that's just the way it shook out. But Jaron Ennis is very real, and he really impressed this year. Impressed enough to become a top 5 welterweight. Welterweight is still a very good division, and he is knocking on the door right now. So for Ennis, his stats overall, impressive ones. He wasn't ranked coming in, so he comes all the way into the number 5 spot in the welterweight division. He is 24 years old, and so very young. Overall, he's 28-0 with 26 knockouts, and right now he's currently the WBA and the IBF's number 3 contender. So, the WBA, in terms of the titles and opportunities this year coming up, nothing is set in stone for him, but guys are going to avoid fighting him, so he's going to have to force a mandatory. He's in that position where, even though he's with the PBC, there's not going to be a lot of guys that will be willing to take him on. Of course, he needs to knock on that door and shake the tree and see if Al Haymon can get him, one of the guys in the PBC to step in the ring with him. He absolutely needs to do that. But if that can't happen, he needs to enforce a mandatory. He's like I said, he's high in the IBF. To be honest, I'd like to see him fight Cody Crowley next to become the IBF's mandatory number 1 contender. And then Errol Spence can't run, in that scenario. For the WBA, there's a couple, they have the Stanionis and Butayev regular title bout, and then Ugas is fighting Spence. So he probably, if he goes into a WBA eliminator, he's not going to be seeing a title shot or be knocking on the door in 2022. If he really wants to fast track a title shot, or to get it directly in line, I think the IBF is the way to go, because the IBF's kind of all up in the air right now. You had, I think, what's his name, the Crujitillo was the number 1 ranked contender, and he got upset by Cody Crowley. So you could argue that Crowley deserves to be the number 1 contender, but they haven't enforced a final eliminator. So why not throw Crowley, who's undefeated, or I think he's undefeated, or he's got 1 loss. Why not throw him in against Jaron Ennis and see who the better man is, and that could be an IBF final eliminator. I think that's going to be very possible and quite likely, because I think the IBF wants a big name as their mandatory number 1 contender. So we're going to see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes the mandatory and then maybe takes a payment to see if Crawford and Spence get together in the second half of the year for undisputed. Right now, I don't know if that's likely, but I really think he's going to get himself in the driver's seat to fight for that IBF title, and he's going to be avoided. Not a lot of people want to get in a ring with him right now. I'm not sure Errol Spence, the champ, after a win over Ugas to unified belts, if he gets that, not sure he's going to want to fight Jaron Ennis. You know, I'm just not sure about that. So Ennis, though, as I said, can force, you know, a title fight and really tell Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford or whoever the champion is, hey, you're running from me now, and it's proven because I became the mandatory and you decided not to fight me. So, you know, that, and they can give up belts to avoid him. So Ennis might be in that situation, which sucks, but in a way it's going to boost his stock, and because of his style, his stock is boosted already. So, you know, it's boosted already. So I really hope Jaron Ennis forces something to happen, something concrete to happen this year that gets him into serious title contention. We'll see what happens. But that's it. That's my number 5 welterweight in the world right now at 147 pounds. The undefeated rising star Jaron Boots Ennis. I hope you guys, and this is my 2021 year-end top 10s continued. I hope you enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.